everyone, it's Jai452 here along with the wonderful Hanna, who has joined me today to rummage through the inside of cosplay. So I'd like to start by asking you, Hanna, when did you first start cosplaying?
I first started cosplaying for MCM 2013 with some of my friends. So we were just like, fuck it, let's cosplay.
Awesome. Do you remember what your first costume was?
It was my own spin on Grell Sutcliffe from the anime Black Butler.
Ooh, awesome. Um, so who or what inspires you to cosplay?
Inspired me to cosplay is the fact that you can basically not be yourself for a while, because I know a lot of people struggle with their identity, so I feel like they can escape and be a different character. Because I know some of my friends have severe social anxiety, and they feel that when they're in cosplay they can actually talk to people and open up to people and actually interact with them. And that kind of inspired me to continue to cosplay with my friends and just to have fun while doing it.
Awesome. So my next question's it's a bit of a two-parter. As you know, sometimes when you cosplay, you're not only just putting on a costume, you're becoming a character, so there's a little bit of acting involved. So half of this question is, what is the most challenging cosplay that you've ever done from an acting point of view? And also, what is the most challenging cosplay that you've ever done from the making of the costume point of view?
Well, for the acting point of view, it would have to be Harlequin, because she was quite a quick character to do, and I had to put her together because I got asked to do a skit. Very, very short notice, so that took some time for me to try and get into the character, get the voice, get the right movements, and the way I walked, the way she spoke, and her personality as a character, because she is a psychopath, so that's quite difficult to embody in acting. The most difficult cosplay for making, see, all the cosplays that I have created are very easy to make, very budget cosplays, like everyday items, because my friends and I, we don't have a lot of money, so we have to do what we can and kind of adapt that. So I just use everyday
Preaching
objects.
to the choir here about not having a lot of money. I know the feeling.
Yeah, so that kind of made everything a whole lot easier, because I've seen people at cons with like extremely complicated cosplays, like full like Halo armor. That takes hours and hours of work, and I don't have that level of skill or patience to do so.
You mentioned there about the armoured kind of looks. Is that something that you would aspire to maybe learn how to do, or?
I think it would be quite interesting to learn how to do, because I saw a cosplayer, I can't remember the name, it was a Digimon character. The woman that did it, she like armoured it up, and it was just so well done, it was so detailed.
Awesome. I always find those ones really interesting because it is something out of the norm, and we're starting to see it more and more. The only possible exception to that is the stormtroopers, because whenever you go to a Comic-Con, there's always a bunch of stormtroopers.
Or a bunch of Deadpools.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a theory about stormtroopers, and you can see if you can agree with me on this or not, because I've asked some cosplayers this. I honestly think that stormtroopers should be like paid guides when going to a Comic-Con.
Now that would be really cool.
Because like if you have somebody as a stormtrooper, you can say, okay, where do I go to find this over here? Or you can even this is the kind of interesting thing, you could have them working as security in these events.
That would be very interesting. I would love to see that. That'd be awesome.
That's my thoughts on stormtroopers at Comic-Cons. You should just have them there as security and like guides and such likes, because there's always 100 of them there.
Yeah.
So in your opinion, what is the most difficult thing or character to cosplay as?
Well, most difficult ones, obviously, they have detail, and they have personality that you might find it difficult to embody, that you may want to cosplay a character and people might say, I don't think you do that character. like it would be like a lot of hard work for you.
Yeah, sorry, I just had my mic there.
I feel that difficult characters will also be the ones that may be larger than life, like in Avatar. They have like the characters in Avatar, like the animated movie that came out a couple of years ago. That they have the way the characters are presented, the way they're painted, if you were, the way they look, can be extremely challenging to you because you may not have that level of skill, and it may be difficult. And I know that some people get bullied off a lot because their cosplay don't live up to other people's expectations. And it might be difficult for them to truly portray that character they want to do.
Okay. Which out of the two kind of Comic Cons? Because a lot of people seem to think there's just like one type of Comic Con, and there's actually, it falls into two categories. There's like the big events, like the once a year ones, and then there's the small local ones. Which out of the two do you prefer more, and which out of the two would you advise somebody who's new to going to Comic Cons and has maybe decided, oh, I'm going to cosplay at an event that's a Comic Con? Which one would you advise them to go to first?
I think they should start off with a small event because they might not feel that they're ready for like the massive ones like MCM Comic Con in September. I mean, that's a huge, huge event with like thousands of people, and they're just starting out and they may feel like they're being judged, so and they might feel more comfortable going to smaller events, such as like little events that happen in Glasgow, that happen in your community, that you could be with friends, so you won't get separated from people.
So when you've been doing either events, like the bigger one or the smaller one, by the way, which one do you prefer out of the two? Well,
I prefer the big convention because I started off pushing myself right out there.
Awesome. When you've been doing both the big and small events, what is the one thing that you're most excited for? And the one thing that either you used to find most nerve-wracking or still do to some extent?
The thing that I look forward to most is seeing my friends, like people that I won't see for months because they live far away. And I feel like it's such a good feeling to see these people and to hug them and just to be around them, give you that positive feeling that you're with people that love you and that you love in return.
Awesome. And something that you either used to find most nerve-wracking or still kind of do?
I think possibly going in cosplay, because my friends are amazing at cosplay and I'm just like the little one that just still stays at home. I'm just the youngest one, and their cosplays are always so like intricate, and they have these like they're awesome handmade weapons, and I'm just sitting just there in my little cheap cosplays like, please don't judge me.
You spoke about handmade weapons there, so we'll move on to the subject of props. When going to a Comic-Con event, do you feel that a prop can be something that adds to your costume, or can sometimes be a hindrance?
Well, it can be hard lugging about like a massive sword or a massive scythe around with you for about 8 hours. But I think a good thing about it is seeing the detail and just the shape of it and how it all came together and how that person has spent so much time and dedication, and it adds to that character so much. Like when I did Grill, I didn't have my chainsaw, I didn't have little pairs of red scissors, I was just there with my friend. I bought a sword that when I was there, but that didn't really add much to the character. So I feel it does add more to the character, giving you more personality as that character.
Awesome. Okay, so still staying with props, do you make your own props, or do you buy in from, say, a website or a store?
Well, I have a look on like websites like eBay and Amazon, and I find something that could work, and then I'll adapt it to fit that character. Like, I'm still like for Harlequin, my friend B I just bought a foam bat from Asda and just put bits of black electrical tape all over it. And that just, it was actually pretty good, and got like, it's like a wooden stick and a bucket, and just covered it in duct tape. And it looked really, really well done. So I'd buy, say, if I want to do a Death Note character, or like be one of the Shinigami in Death Note, I would just buy a plain black notebook and just like draw on it and like stick pages into it, and it's just so much better on the wallet.
Awesome. You spoke there about the Harlequin Mallet. I did Harlequin when I went to my first Comic-Con this year, and last year actually. I say this year, last year. When I decided to do the character, I was like, okay, I need to design the costume, which I did. And then I thought, okay, I need some kind of prop that I can at least have around for the sake of photographs. And I decided to tackle the hammer, which was probably not the best of ideas. Because I then kind of immediately went to, I had some idea on how to do it, but I immediately went to YouTube and said, okay, how to make Harley Quinn's hammer. And I seen all these like wonderful videos on how to make a hammer out of everyday items, and the one that really stood out for me was one with a girl who got like washing baskets, and she attached them to obviously the shaft part of the mallet, and then paper machéed the entire basket before painting it. And I said, although that's really, really awesome how that's done, it's like 2 to 3 months before I go to this con. I so don't have the time to track down something like paper mache so that I can do that. I need this done within the next couple of weeks so that I can then focus on the last elements of the costume. So I would say, like, if you're making a mallet type of thing, like, definitely look on YouTube for inspiration, but then think about what materials you have to hand.
I agree with that, yeah, because YouTube is just it's just an archive full of videos to help you with cosplay. There's like so many channels and stuff, and like for makeup and stuff, because some of the characters require like prosthetics and different complicated makeups that might be difficult, but these people show you how to do it and how to do it well.
Awesome. So when you've been going to the events for cosplay, have you ever entered any of the cosplay competitions?
I haven't actually had the guts to enter a cosplay competition. MCM 2015 was the first time I was ever on stage at a con doing the Harley Quinn skit with my friends.
And how did that feel when you went up on stage to do that?
Well, even though I performed for years before that, it was absolutely nerve-wracking. I was terrified because these people, I didn't know these people. Some of the people I just met on the day. I was just terrified. But we pulled through because we had problems with cast. One of our Harleys didn't show up. One of them got really stage fright, so we had to go find a Riddler to do it. But we made it work, and it was good.
Awesome. In your opinion, what are the best and the worst things that a new cosplayer can do when preparing to go to a cosplay event or a Comic-Con?
I think the best thing they can do is to give it their all, to be confident in their costume, to be confident in themselves as a person. Because like I said earlier, people have social anxiety, they feel that they can't do this. I think cosplay is a way that they can push themselves into more different situations for them that can bring them out of their shell. I think the worst things someone could do is the complete opposite of that, is to not be confident, to not talk to people, to not have pride in what they've spent ages creating, to feel that they're not good enough. Because people have like serious image issues about their cosplay. Like that's what happened to me when I did my Grell costume. I was 14 or 15 and I just felt like I couldn't do it. Because me and my friend Emily. She was my undertaker for that. We spent just ages together just going over what we could do, what we felt that we couldn't do, but we managed to pull through that, and we ended up having an amazing time.
Awesome. So what kind of opportunities has cosplay presented you out with, like going to Comic-Cons or specific cosplay events? Like, have you done anything for, say, charity, or have you been asked to do voiceovers for anything, that kind of thing?
I'd say, coming from cosplay, I've had the opportunity to do quite a few photo shoots and like the characters in and out of cosplay, and I feel like that's opened up like another part of myself that I didn't feel. It's made me more confident, and it's made me like appreciate it a lot more, and I feel like I want to push myself, because good friends of mine like B, David and Taylor, they do charity events. They go to children's hospitals in cosplay, and they just make everyone so happy even when they're just feeling rubbish, basically.
Okay, so we're going to change this up a little bit now.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask you for your top 5 or top 3, if you can't get 5, favourite moments at a Comic-Con event when you've been in cosplay.
Oh, well, one of them has to be MCM 2014. I was cosplaying Rainbow Dash from My Little Pony, and I was sitting in like the big area with my friends, and I just heard this little laugh, and I turned around, there was a little girl running out to me with a Rainbow Dash plushie, and she was like, "You're my absolute favourite," and I was about to start crying. I was like, "Oh my god, you're so adorable."
Aww.
So I gave her massive hugs, and we got photos together. Oh, it was just one of the highlights of Comic-Con, just like making someone happy. Another moment, let me think. Highlight has to be meeting all these amazing people. Like last year at Comic-Con, I got to meet Robert Llewellyn, who was Crichton Red Dwarf.
Awesome.
He's just one of my heroes. I just love him to bits. He's so funny. And
I can't remember the name of the woman who was in that show, but I do believe that my older cousin he's a fan of Red Dwarf, and he has a picture of Crichton, and then the woman that was in the show, like I think she was like in the later season.
The woman that played Kachansky.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
So he's like got a picture of the guy who has the H on his head, and then her out of costume. And I remember seeing that and thinking, if I ever meet them at a Comic-Con, I'm going to ask one of them, "Do you remember so-and-so guy who came running up to you?"
Yeah.
So meeting Crichton.
Yeah, and just meeting new people that you just... There was one person I met at Comic-Con a good few years ago. It wasn't even at Comic-Con, it was like the opening of Geekaboo in Glasgow.
Oh, right.
A good number of years ago. A couple of years ago, actually. And that she's now one of my absolute best friends. So I feel like I can go from strangers, can go to one of your best friends in a matter of hours at these events. And you just stick with them, and they just push you to do what you want to do, which I feel is good.
So who was that you met at the opening of Geekaboo?
Vicky Evans, who, she's one of my best friends. She does a lot of cosplay. She does stuff for the Maid Cafe Made in Scotland. And she is one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. She's such a sweetheart. I love her to bits.
Awesome. So have you got any other 2 other moments that were awesome?
Just the sheer hilarity of it all, how fun it can all be, because you never think it's like, oh, it's going to be just all these people think, oh, it's just full of going to be these geeks in costume. They're going to be like, ugh. But when you go, you get like a total different reaction from these people. Like, you get adults, you get children, you get so many different people your age that go to your school that dress up, that they love, doing what they love, and you're just like, people that have just been for the first time, like, you know what, this isn't so bad. So I feel like it can change people to think more positively, because there has been a lot of hate towards cosplayers, which I feel it's kind of like putting a big dark cloud over it all. I feel like if you bring people to these, it can totally change your mind, because that's what I did with one of my really good friends from school, he was there for the first time, and we asked. He cosplayed as Gandalf, this wee, skinny 16-year-old just running about shouting, "You shall not pass," big beard flowing as he runs around. Oh man.
That kind of runs along with something that Blair told me. Apparently one of his friends was, I think they were dressed up as, I can't remember who they said, but it was, it was Loki. They were dressed up as Loki, and they were screaming, "Neo!" And,
Neo.
yeah, and people are like just walking past this poor guy while he's like screaming, "Neo! Neo!" And I said to Blair, if I'd have walked past them in my Harley outfit, I would have probably have said something along the lines of, "If it didn't work for Skeletor, it's not going to work for you." And just like keep walking.
Snap.
Because like, and I explained that by saying, when he was saying, when Blair was saying that his friend was like screaming Neil, it just made me automatically think of the old He-Man movie.
Yeah.
Where he's screaming at He-Man like, "Neil, Neil, Neil!" And I just kept thinking, you know, if it's not going to work for him, it's not going to work for you. Sorry. But that, Blair got a good laugh out of that. And when you think about it, because he said like, "Oh, snap," that is kind of something that Harley would say.
Yeah.
You know, so you're not being mean to the person, you're just staying in character.
Just being that character.
Yeah. Obviously I would say to the person, look, I'm not being like an ass or anything, so please don't take it too bad.
It's just the costume, it's not me.
Yeah. I'm actually a really, really nice person. Okay, so you mentioned there about reactions from all different age groups. What have been some of the most interesting reactions that you've got when you've been in cosplay?
Some of the most interesting reactions feel how positive people are, and like how, like, because you think, oh, they're going cosplay, they're going to be mean to you. So that little voice at the back of your head just saying that. But in reality, they're really, really accepting. They're just like, because we live in a world where you can be who you want to be, and that you can be in cosplay, and people in the minority who are just stupid. They just like hate on you every day for doing something you love. So that's really interesting reactions.
Strange.
Yeah, so it's just how positive people can be towards it.
I think one of the more interesting reactions I've had was at Halloween. I was at the Trade Hall in Glasgow, and a friend of mine and me went as Zombie Joker, and his costume was amazing for that because he was using it's like he had like
latex?
Thank you, yeah, liquid latex on his face for the first time to use like some swords and such likes. And here was me that I came along in my Harley outfit and then said, okay, I need to do my makeup. Did the normal Harley makeup, and then painted black stitches across my face to look a bit like Sally from The Nightmare Before Christmas. And I looked at myself and I was like, okay, so I'm not incredibly scary. You know, I'm not so like soul-suckingly scary that I'm going to really scare anyone. I might scare a child or two, but that's going to be the run of today. We were walking around and my friend sadly scared one child half to death. And I felt so bad for the child. I was like, oh, you poor little soul. And I kind of like, we both checked to see if the kid was okay, because he immediately just started crying after seeing my friend.
Oh no.
So we checked to see if he was okay, and every time we kind of slightly like keeked around to see if he was okay, he just turned his face right into his mother's neck. And I was like, oh my God. And I apologized, like we both apologized to the mum, and she's like, oh, don't worry about it. He's been crying all day long. And I was like, oh, well, okay, thanks. But after, like, having done or parade, I noticed this little kid, and this little kid was only like a few months old, I would say, like maybe 1, 2 at the most. And that's kind of weird after saying a few months old, I know. But I'm running with it. So I had to go over to the kid, and I was like, going over there, and I was like, please don't cry, please don't cry, please don't cry when you see me. Went down to him and just kind of like tickled at his stomach. Before I even touched the kid, he looked up at me, and I'm like, let's make or break time. Let's make or break time. Got so like an inch close to him, and he just started laughing, like instantly laughing his head off.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, okay, this is good. But I took that away from that experience. I was like, that is like one of the most awesome things ever, having that kid just laugh, and hearing that kid laugh, because that's one of the things I always find most rewarding in life, is when you hear a small child laughing. But yeah, I even said to the mum, why didn't you enter this one in the march? And she's like, because I already had a small Ghostbuster in the march, so can't have a small bug going as well. So on the subject of children in costumes, have you noticed that there's been a bit of an increase in that?
I feel like
really young children in costumes at these events.
I have seen, and I think it is adorable seeing like a little kid and like a little cosplay and like a little R2D2 onesie or something. I just think it's just so adorable, and the parents. People say that the parents, oh, like you're inflicting your left on that child when it can't think for himself yet, it can't do it for himself yet. I was like, look at the little baby. I think it is adorable. I went to see the new Star Wars movie on New Year's Eve, and when I went there, 2 3-year-olds, Princess Leia and a wee Luke Skywalker.
Oh.
She had like the dress, she had like the buns and everything, and we R2D2, and I was like, oh my gosh. And there's like these little kids, people say, oh, don't do that to your child, don't do that to your child, blah, blah, blah.
I'm just going to say this on that. If the child did not want to be in the costume, they would let you know.
They would bloody well let you know, yeah.
It's like, it's the same when people say, don't dress up your cats and your dogs in these kind of weird outfits. If the animal does not want to wear it, they will take it off. Same with the child.
Yeah. Same
premise. So you were saying?
Well, I think it is. I've seen like a rising amount of children in costume, like little kids, and like I remember last year there was a little girl at Comic Con who's all about like this height, wearing an awesome. It was like was it a Predator costume? No, it wasn't, because it was like a steampunk type of angel-looking costume. And it was like she was all kitted out, and she just looked so cool. She had like a little bow and arrow and everything. And there was another one, a little boy in a Predator costume, just running around roaring at people. It's like, these kids love dressing up. Like, it's wardrobe and it's like put on their clothes and pretend. Kids do that, and it kind of carries on. You can see like loads of generations of cosplayers, because they just do it because they love it, because it makes them happy.
I think the oldest people that I know of that cosplay are in their 50s. I'm pretty sure that there's like there older people. I know for a fact there are older people out there in the world that go well into their 80s and 90s and they still cosplay. Like for instance, I think there was a picture somewhere on the internet of a woman who reached 90 to 95 or possibly even 100, and for her birthday she dressed up as Wonder Woman. And I just tend to think that is awesome.
Yeah.
Just you're 90 or possibly even 100 years old, and you face your birthday by dressing up as a comic book character that was within your lifetime, so that you got to see develop into what they are right now, kind of thing. So that's amazing.
It's incredible.
When you've been in costume and you've had little kids come up to you for pictures, is it normally the child that comes up to you, or is it the parent that comes up to you?
The majority of the time it is the child, because children, they're just so confident, and they see something they love, they're going to run towards it. Like they see a parent, they're going to power through to get to that parent, or like their guardian. If they see a character that they love, like a TV show or like a book or a movie, they're going to want to hug you. And there's nothing you can do about it, and it's just like a really rewarding experience that you've made a child happy. So that's one of the most rewarding things about cosplay, is making people happy.
Have you had many adults kind of like come up to you and go, I really love your costume, or do they like? How do they, like, the older ones approach you? Do they approach you as an individual, or do they approach you as the character, or is it a blend of the two?
It is more of a blend of the two, because at Comic Con when I was cosplaying as Harley, there was like loads of different Jokers, and they would just approach you, and you would approach them, and you would just get along fine. That most people say, like, oh, you're brought up not to talk to strangers. When you're doing cosplay, you do that. You just go up and talk to random people, and they do approach you, and it is. People do find it difficult to approach other people when they're in cosplay, because feel like they're going to get judged. But they say, oh my god, they love your cosplay, and you return the favour. It's just a great feeling, and you feel more positive about it, and you get pictures, and you talk, and you end up forming a really strong friendship with that person.
Awesome. What has been the most popular cosplay for you to see in 2015? Like, what do you think was the most out there one?
There's three I'm torn between.
Okay.
Deadpool.
Okay.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Really?
Yeah, I've seen a few Five Nights at Freddy's cosplayers, and what was the other one? Star Wars. Like, Star Wars is always going to be there. Because I've got a picture from Comic Con last year, someone that made a full-sized Foxy puppets. Like, he was walking behind controlling it all, and it was amazing. Like, because my friends and I, for Halloween a couple of years ago, we went as Five Nights at Freddy's characters. And at my first Comic Con, I got surrounded by a crowd of Deadpools. And I was like, okay then, this is happening. Because Deadpool is such an easy character, he's such an awesome character, and with the movie coming out really soon, it's just going to be a surge of Deadpools. Like, imagine going to the premiere, like at a cinema, like a midnight showing, sea of red moving. Swanning into the cinema.
That was something that a lot of people tend to think as well when I ask them that question. They say that there's always a lot of Deadpools, a lot of Star Warses, mostly the Stormtroopers, to be fair. The occasional Wookiee or the occasional Ewok. And I've got a funny story for you about an Ewok in a bit. And Harley. Harley seems to be a very big fan favourite to do for Comic-Con. Do you think that we'll see a massive increase when the Suicide Squad movie comes around?
Well, the thing is, there's so many different versions of Harley. You've got the classic one, and you've got the Suicide Squad one. At Comic-Con last year, so quite a few Suicide Squad Harleys. Like, and I feel like it is a good representation. I haven't personally seen the full trailers, but from what I've seen, it is morphed from like loads of different versions.
It's supposed to be, like, from what I've seen, and from what I've heard, it's supposed to be her new 52 look. And I was looking at her new 52 look, and I have to admit, like, whoever said that was her new 52 look has not seen enough of her 52 look. Because I was looking at it and going, right, okay, so the blue in her hair could be like a version of the black, because like when you're reading comics, that's what they tend to do. They tend to highlight black with a little bit of blue. The pink, I don't know where they're getting the pink from, because that is a very vibrant pink. And then our new 52 look, it's black and red.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether they were like referring to the colorization of her to the new 52 look, or whether they were meaning the actual outfit, because in the outfit she does wear kind of like hot pants and
The daddy's little monster t-shirt.
well, no, but something like it. You know, it's like it's a short top kind of thing, so that she's exposing her kind of thing.
Very, very skimpy.
Midriff. So yeah, I'm going to be really interested to see where that ties in, kind of thing. Okay, so we're going to do another top 5.
Okay.
Top 5 weirdest things that have happened to you either in cosplay or at a Comic-Con.
Weirdest things. One, at my first Comic-Con, there was a Naruto cosplayer. I think it was Toby? I'm not too sure. Came up to me. I had just arrived. Stood in front of me for like 5 minutes, because I was wearing like a little clip-on hat. And he just reached out, tapped it, fell over laughing for like another 5 minutes, and we were just there looking at this guy, laughing, but just from a tiny hat. I can see where tiny hats can be amusing to people, but yeah, so that was one. That kicked off my Comic-Con experience to a great start. The other one, so the fourth one, as I was saying earlier, my friend cosplaying as Gandalf, running around in a robe and a beard, shouting, "You shall not pass," my friend Nathan as Bilbo running behind him with his sword. I am friends with some strange people. Yeah, another one. Last year's Harley swinging around a rubber chicken. I know it sounds weird.
I think I might have heard about this. B was telling me something.
B had the rubber chicken, yeah.
Yeah, she told me something about a rubber chicken.
The rubber chicken incident. Okay.
Don't touch my rubber chicken.
Where's my rubber chicken, you bitch? Oh, okay. Number 2. Events. Try to think. Yeah, 2 years ago, my friend David cosplaying as Sebastian. We're sitting randomly. All of a sudden, thanks behind the head. I was turned around. I was just like, what the fuck? Because he just turned around. He just went. He was as Sebastian. He just went up and over. That kind of freaked me out a bit. Okay, and the weirdest thing. Oh. This is gonna take a wee minute.
It's okay.
Oh, what's the weirdest thing that's ever happened to me? A lot of weird things that happened to me.
Well, while you're thinking of that, I'll fill in the story about the Ewok.
Okay.
So my first Comic-Con ever, and it was at the Braehead Arena, and we initially went in, me and my cousin, and I got all done up and suited up and all the rest, and we did our initial walk around the area, and then we realised he didn't have any money and he wanted to buy something, so we had to go and find a cashier. And because we had the early bird ticket, we got to see all the people that were queued up. And I noticed a giant Wookiee walking past. And little did I know at the time, but this guy who was in the Wookiee outfit was actually walking on stilts. And I just kind of looked at it and was like this with my cousin. I actually poked him with my hammer, going, "Look! Look!"
The the thing.
It's a Wookiee. And he's like, yes, 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 yes. I can see it, totally ignoring me. And every time I walked like closer to my cousin or near to where he was, I could hear this squeaking. And I'm like, okay, so I'm wearing training shoes, like Converses, so that could be squeaking against the floor. So I stopped and I could still hear this squeaking. And I'm like, okay, other people walking around maybe? So I stopped and I've kind of slightly put my back against this kind of pillar. And I'm just waiting for my cousin and I'm looking slightly around. And then out of the corner of my eye, and kind of this side of my head in general, I hear the squeaking again and I'm like, what is it? I slightly turn and there's this person in an Ewok costume with a little spear walking towards me, squeaking. And I'm like this. I put my hammer at the side of me and I'm like, yeah?
Yeah.
I
Okay.
see you. Stay back.
I see you there. Hold the hammer up.
Yes, I see you there.
Get a stormtrooper in his back up. Wacky! Ewok, sorry.
So, yes, I kind of got freaked out by an Ewok.
They do look a bit funny, but they're just little fuzzy bears. They're just adorable.
When you see it coming towards you and it's squeaking with a spear, you'll think twice.
Fair point.
So the weirdest moment for you in cosplay or Comic-Con?
I think it happened at Cosplay meet fairly recently. We were like, Ironbrew Carnival. It was one of my friend Mitch's. It was there. They were hosting a meet, so we went to the Ironbrew Carnival. And Brandon, I don't know if you know Brandon. We were in Central Station because we were all just arriving. Brandon was there dressed up. I think he was a Sith.
Mhm.
I was sitting there talking, eating. I just went and bought a cup of fruit, talking to my friend Evan. Then we suddenly heard this thud behind us. We both turned around. There was Brandon, roly-polying along the floor. Then just jumping up. Then he got asked because he was rolling about on the floor, just because saying there was like a safety hazard. This very manly man rolling about on the floor. I can't even put any more words to that. Just a grown man rolling on the floor for no reason whatsoever. Well, there must have been a reason. I don't know. There must have been a reason. I just kind of put a right kickstarter to that day. Just him rolling. It was bizarre.
Okay, so my second to last question would be, can you give us a little sneak peek or tell us 3 cosplays that you plan to do this year?
This year, well, the one at the top of my list is Blind Mag from Repo the Genetic Opera.
Awesome.
Because my friends and I were going to do like a wee group cosplay for that, so that's one I'm really, really excited for. Another one is Christine, the 2004 film version of Phantom of the Opera, where the point of no return was like the brown corset, the gold skirt. So that's one I'm really excited to do. And another one is a femme spine from Steam Powered Giraffe, because I've been wanting to do the spine for ages and ages. I've always had like either something on, or I just didn't have the time or the resources. So those 3, I want to get at least 2 out of the 3 done this year for Comic-Con.
That's great. So my last question would be, before I hand over, what advice would you give to anyone who would like to cosplay but is kind of unsure where to start?
So you go for something that you feel is quite simple, that you can simplify. Like I made Grell quite simple. I mean, you've seen it is quite a complicated costume because you have to like find all the right components and styling and makeup. But do something that you feel is incredibly simple. Like be like a comic book character like Batman or Spider-Man or Superman, because you can easily buy costumes for that that won't break your budget. If you don't want to do that, you can basically buy like cosplay on a budget. Like you can buy things that you feel you can adapt, even ever so slightly, to that character. So I did a Rainbow Dash because I just went and bought a blue vest, blue denim shorts, and cheap blue Converse from like just like a shop. And they only be expensive. I only ever splash out on the wigs because I want to make the wig good. And if you want to throw yourself right in the deep end and create something complicated, but you're still unsure, go for it. It's what you want to do. If you want to do it, as Shia LaBeouf says, do it. So that's my advice. Just go for it and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Even if you are unsure, do it.
Awesome. So, just before we wrap up, I would like to hand over to you, Hannah, and come with the last kind of question. Of any cosplay groups, movements, and lastly, where get a hold of you if they have any further questions specifically for you. What kind of like social media do you use?
I'm part of a Harlequin cosplay group. Like we've got a whole Facebook page that is like all different Harlequin cosplayers. We can all come together and just like talk about this. I wouldn't say I'm really part of any big cosplay groups, but I'm just like small friendship groups. And if you want to get in contact with any other questions, you can always get me through Facebook, you can get me through Twitter, Instagram, and in our social medias like Geek King is another one. You can come and get in contact with me, and I like.
What are your handles on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook?
My Facebook is just Hannah Ewing. My Instagram is Hannah the Muffin. And I think my Twitter account is the same. I'll just double check. Should be just the same as my Instagram. Yeah. Yeah, it's Hanna the Muffin. And,
awesome name.
Yeah.
Love that.
It used to be Awkward Turtles. But
I think you went with the right choice. Hanna the Muffin sounds better.
That's a lot better. And I think that's about all my social media. Yes.
Awesome. So are you a part of any cosplay movements, such as like the anti-bullying cosplay?
Yeah, of course. I think cosplay hate is something that shouldn't be happening. You wouldn't... Again, bullying someone because of what they're wearing is just immature and stupid. And when people bully someone just because of what they're wearing, it actually makes me embarrassed to see someone stoop so low as to insult someone on what they're wearing. When they're wearing something like they're going about in like tracksuits and stuff, when they're actually when other people are making themselves look presentable, making them look themselves really nice, and they're just like laughing at them because of that. Like, because people think it's just girls that get hate on from what they wear, but guys are put under just as much pressure. So, cosplay bullying and other bullying in general is so far below. Is like that's like one of the lowest things you can stoop to is bullying someone because of the way they look. Yeah, because my friends and I, we're a very big part of like anti-bullying and anti-bullying against cosplayers, and also cosplayers face a lot of sexual harassment because they're cosplays. Like they want to like Wonder Woman, she like wears a bodysuit, like a short bodysuit, which is like showing her legs and stuff. Like characters like Sailor Moon, like have very skimpy outfits. I think skimpy is not the right word. Short, say short, and people just. They can just go up to you and just start hugging them and stuff without their consent. And I think that's something that needs to be smooshed out.
Yes.
So my friends and I are a very big part of like anti-bullying against cosplayers and sexual harassment against cosplayers because we just want that to stop and for everyone just to love each other, basically.
Awesome. So it's at this point I'd like to take the time to thank Hannah for coming along today and taking the time out to come and talk to us about all things cosplay. Hopefully I will be back really soon with another interview. I don't know who it will be with. It could be with anyone. So hopefully we'll see you again soon, guys, and we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.